Salutations!
Welcome to the Film Mages Podcast, where the popcorn is our ammunition, the couch is our foxhole, and the cinema is our place of worship.
Now let me see your war face. Ah!
Please. No starting with chewing. We're recording.
Wait, has the episode started?
I just started it.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Hey there, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
It's the Film Majors.
Woo!
We're back.
We are back.
I'm Zack.
I'm Mick.
I'm Alexis.
Alexis is chewing, so she's covering her
I
mouth.
think she's
No,
finished.
I finished.
Oh, you finished chewing?
I finished. I
Finished chewing your
I
good?
desperately tried
What
before
was that
this started.
baklava that you were just having?
I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I don't know. But it's tasty.
It's really good. It has walnuts in it and cinnamon.
Walnuts and
Oh, great.
raisins
I can't eat that.
and bread.
Why? Because of the cinnamon?
No.
Are you allergic?
Yeah, it's too spicy.
Are you allergic to tree nuts?
Yeah, I'm allergic to tree nuts, which was a fun moment on set today when someone on the COVID team, I was posted up at our parking situation, and someone on the COVID team went to go grab me coffee and came back and was like, hey, so they didn't have any vanilla creamer. I put hazelnut in there. Is that okay?
Oh.
And at like, I woke up at 4 in the morning today, and at like 6 in the morning, I just looked at him and I was like, it's not okay.
Oh, God.
It's not even kind of okay.
Is that
That's not what I
Is
said.
that what that sound was last night when I woke up? It sounded
Yeah,
like-
you were awake.
I was awake.
You were awake
I know.
going to
woke
bed.
Up, I woke up to your alarm.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, I fell asleep on the couch, but yeah. And then I just heard this weird convulsing sound. Disgusting. I'm sorry that you had that experience. It's no good.
Yeah, no, it made me sad. But tomorrow's the last day of this commercial, so...
Congratulations.
And I believe that some more congratulations are in order to Mick and Alexis for wrapping the movie they were working on.
We did.
They're free.
Oh, yeah.
My body's slowly but surely decomposing in the aftermath.
There is a certain level of decay happening, but
Yeah.
it's the post-production wrap where you're just in a comatose state. I call it hibernating. That's what it feels like. You know, it's nice. It's good.
Yeah,
It's good
well-
to be done with the show. It feels good.
I feel like as an introverted person, like for the most part, I really started planning, because it's like, oh, you make so many friends. It's like, oh, we're planning all these things. And then I was like, oh, no, actually, I'm just going to stay home.
Well, you better get fired up because it's Halloween weekend. And you know what else you better get fired up for?
I know.
What's going on?
What is going on, Zack? Please tell us.
Well, I had another experience on set today that I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Did it happen again?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, during the final setup for this commercial, I can't say what it is because I'll be sued. They were, setting up, and there's this beautiful thing that happens during the final setup of a shoot. I feel like there's just this very quiet focus where everyone knows that they want to get out of there. They know that they're close.
The
and
light is at the end of the tunnel.
Yes,
now.
people are like at the top of their game, just silently working away, moving lights, getting set up.
Oh, yeah.
And during that time, just as it got about as quiet as it possibly could, I was sitting right by everybody setting up. I ripped ass. I farted louder than I have in like years, and it wasn't like I was like going ham at Crafty today. Like I had breakfast and lunch and like a couple cups of coffee. I was feeling fine, and just explosively farted, and it was something about the setup of the space that I was in. It just reverberated around this set, and I didn't look over at everyone. I kind of like stared off into the middle distance.
Right, yeah, like, who was that?
Like,
God?
It's a funny business we're in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did
I am
Did
sure.
it tip the Richter scale?
Things reverberated a couple lights fell.
Richter wasn't having a good time with that. That's for sure.
Wait, hold on. Richter?
Richter.
Hardly know.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Beat me to
Got
it.
you there.
Wow, I have to say, I know people tweeted into the last episode saying, I don't like the horny energy that Mick is bringing to this episode. Which, by the way, having heard it, I completely agree. It was egregious. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But I wonder what people are going to say when they tweet in about the flattest energy that's been brought into the beginning of this podcast, because I have to say, it's mighty. It's a mighty wind.
Yeah.
Like the Christopher Guest film.
The winds of change.
Like, did you fight it? Like, did you hold back, or was it just like a sneaker wave?
Well, I didn't think that it was gonna be. I didn't think it was gonna be as powerful as it was.
Your ass was talking shit behind your back. Yeah, yeah, we've been there.
Yeah, so that's what's been going on with me.
Yeah, that's fun.
Wow. Stupendous.
Also, I saw a couple of back to.
That story was so frightening, my beard ran away.
Yeah, and that in turn is so frightening. That,
I know.
Mick shaved. It's scary as fuck.
You should start calling me Babyface Nelson going forward.
I won't be doing that.
Oh my god. Yeah, the barber as he was shaving my beard.
Sometimes you just gotta say yes, Zack.
I'm no budding Mick this entire podcast, and I don't like that. I feel like that's gonna get me into a sticky situation.
What's the lesson of today, kids? Sometimes you just have to say yes.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, wait. But I do have a segue. You talked about the horniness of our last episode, and what did we watch immediately after recording the last episode? Didn't we watch Interview with a Vampire?
You probably did, yeah.
No, we saw it before. I think we saw it the night before.
No.
No, that was after.
It was after because I was like, oh, I'm gonna bring this up on what's going on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I remember now because it was the night of or the following night on your spooky list.
Yes, I believe it was the night of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah, what a blast. Wow.
Oh my god. Yeah. We were all rooting for Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Enrique was hella rooting for Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I think he even called him hot at one point, which
Oh,
I just felt as a victory because, I mean, you don't have Enrique, anyone over 25 is old.
Yeah, there's a certain vindication in that statement.
There is. Yeah. I feel like, Tom Cruise he's directed, I guess.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, boy.
You don't need to be that worried about being old and unattractive. You're not.
I didn't.
You're not even out of your 20s.
That's a comment about the beard. First of all, fair enough. But two, I'm doing it for the costume that we're doing. I'm playing, who am I playing? Billy.
Oh, yeah, I've got to tell you something, buddy.
What's up?
No, I'm still doing the costume.
Oh, you want to make him sweat for a second?
I want to make him a little damp.
I am trying to behave on this episode, and I don't know why it's not working.
I also saw a couple of classic films on the big screen. I went and saw The Lost Boys with a group of friends at the Burbank AMC, which was just an absolute blast. Love The Lost Boys. Joel Schumacher gets entirely too much shit. I think
I was going to say he gets a pass.
No, Joel Schumacher gets entirely too much shit, period, because I've seen 4 Joel Schumacher films, and 3 of them range from, watchable to very good. So, I think that he's catching a lot of fucking strays. Show him some respect.
It's the Batman movie, man. It makes me angry.
Batman Forever is a fun movie. Batman Forever is fun. Batman and Robin is bad, but Batman Forever is fun.
Did he do that one?
Yeah.
Is that the one with
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey, yeah.
That's a fun movie. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I'll stick up for it.
Oh, you know what's the other one that we watched too? The Witches of Eastwick.
Yes.
That is also a very horny movie.
I was not expecting the horniness.
No,
of that film.
I went into it just thinking, oh, there's gonna be something spooky's gonna happen, right?
I thought it was gonna
and then I was like, oh, it's gonna be so fun because it's gonna be Cher, Michelle Pfeiffer, Susan Sarandon, and Jack Nicholson. Okay.
Which, by the way, I was, I feel weird for saying this, but I was like, oh, Jack Nicholson, you are disgusting. You are
slimy.
Slimy?
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson's something in this.
He's a little devil.
He is yes.
He's a little devil.
He's a horny little devil.
He's a horny little devil.
His words. You ask him. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's something that Jack Nicholson would mutter to you at a Lakers game.
I'm a horny little devil.
Hey now.
What are you talking about? It's halftime. They're playing the commercials.
Well, consider me perked up. There's been kind of a theme developing in horror movies I've watched recently, and that's periods playing a significant role. Because
I love a good period movie.
The movie that we're talking about, yeah, we love a period piece. The movie that we're talking about today heavily features a scene where someone gets their period. I watched Ginger Snaps, and I watched the other movie that I watched on the big screen at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery was Brian De Palma's Carrie, which the inciting incident of that movie is Carrie getting her period. So I don't really know if I have anything to say about that, but that's just...
confess something? Which may be a sin here in this podcast. I have never seen Carrie.
You've never seen Carrie?
I've never seen Carrie. I haven't seen the new one. I have not seen the original, and it's not for any reason. It's like Rosemary's Baby, another one that I saw recently last week. It's just I never have gotten around to it, and I want to.
Until the most recent viewing of Carrie, I was never particularly into it. There was something about seeing it on a big screen that... just made it click for me.
Yeah.
I think I always felt that it was kind of slow or kind of boring. That's a breezy movie. It's like barely over 90 minutes and it moves.
What is that Brian De Palma movie that we started watching? You finished it. It's about the guy...
Body Double.
Through the window, right?
I love that movie.
Yeah, I need to finish that.
Speaking of horny little devils, Brian De Palma.
Yeah, very on brand. That's for sure. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you watched Suspiria. Yeah. That's great.
I didn't watch Suspiria. What are you talking about?
Or whatever it is. Or I get Carrie and Suspiria confused.
Oh my god.
You know, it's nice to know that as much as we don't listen to Mick, he isn't listening to us.
That's fair. That is fair. I'll give you that. Alexis, do you have anything going on other than hibernation?
Well, we tried to watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space last night, and then I just stopped us halfway through the movie.
Oh. Yeah, that reminds me. I have a bone to pick with Universal Studios.
Oh yeah, so I was gonna bring up Horror Nights.
Yeah, take it away.
We went on Sunday, right? And albeit we did not get in at exactly 6 o'clock. We maybe got in at 7:30 probably, and it was impossible to go through all of those lines. Oh my god.
Bummer.
It was just so packed, and then it was they weren't spacing out when you enter. Me and my sister talked about this yesterday, but they weren't really spacing out when you would go into the haunted houses. So so you'd see the scares right before you, and then you're already moving past. You're already having to move past that actors who's supposed to pop out to scare you,
it's not only are the lines really long, they are shuffling you through the haunted house, so you're speed walking through these really nice, pretty...
The set design is incredible.
Exactly. Yeah. But they oversold tickets. It was a ripoff. I mean, shit, Killer Clowns had a ride, which I really wanted to do, and it was
everything was
85-minute wait.
105-minute wait, so, I think we went on Transformer because it was only a 25-minute wait.
Yeah.
Well, if you live in the LA area and you want to engage in a haunted event that's going to give you a little more bang for your buck, I would highly recommend the House of Spirits. It's over in Eagle Rock. I went to it last year. I'm going again this year on Halloween night. And it is a really fun, immersive... haunted house. They have a story going. You interact with all these actors. Last year there was some tasteful nudity. And on top of all of that, you get 4 to 5 themed cocktails. So I had a blast last year, and I can't wait to go again this year. So if you're in the LA area, check out House of Spirits. This episode's sponsored by House of Spirits.
I was going to say we're not sponsored by them, but we should be.
Yeah, no. Can House of Spirits hop on that?
Money, please. Thank you.
So that's what's going on.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Is that what's going on?
I have one more thing going on. I did go see Smile with my sister as well.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Let's get into it. I also saw Smile. I remember I saw I've seen this commercial so many times in the past couple of months, and the first time obviously it kind of gave me the willies, but the more I saw it, the more I kept thinking, oh, this is gonna be so hack. It's gonna be so hack.
And then it started getting like good reviews when it came out. And so then of course like I was like, oh, you know, I gotta go see it. And you know what? It wasn't like terrible. I did like it enough, but I do think that like I was able to kind of guess kind of what was going to end up happening, so it didn't really keep me like in the feeling like I've started to feel sometimes like I was getting ahead of the story just a little bit, but also it was a little fun. Yeah, there's something else I want to say about it, but you go, Zach.
I feel like I would have had more fun with Smile if you shaved about 20 minutes off of it.
That's fair.
I think when I came out of Smile, I described it as like if you put Hereditary and It Follows through the mid machine. I mean, I didn't hate the movie. I'm being kind of hard on it, but I don't know. It didn't do a lot for me. I feel like if you want to watch a horror movie that features a giant spooky white lady, save your money for Barbarian, which is now on HBO Max. This episode is sponsored by Barbarian. This episode is sponsored by Boulder Light Studios.
I told my sister that if she hadn't seen Barbarian, she had to see Barbarian, and that it was very, very good. One of my favorite movies from the year. But I did... So me and my sister were talking about how it's like, oh, well, it's kind of nice that they didn't have to use, like, a ton of gore in the movie. If that was one of your complaints, that was not necessarily one of ours. I was more so enjoying the fact that it does what I always enjoy in a horror movie, which is play with your sense of needing to know what's in the dark.
I will say, in the movie's favor, there is one specific jump scare early in the movie that is so well crafted and got me so hard.
Nice.
I'm not a huge jump scare man, but you know, when they're implemented well,
when they work,
and this one really works. I leapt out of my seat.
Okay.
Which one was that?
Well, I don't want to
don't
spoil
tell
it.
you.
Oh, okay.
It's
Which I was going to ask, actually. Should I see it then? But that kind of sold me a little bit. I won't lie.
Yeah, I think you don't need to run out to see it in theaters, but
okay.
You know, if it shows up on streaming, check it out.
I think if you're willing to watch Dead Silence, then you should might as well fucking watch Smile.
You know what Dead Silence has going for it? You know what Dead Silence has going for it is that it's not almost 2 hours long.
And Donnie Wahlberg's in it.
Yeah, goofing around with the murder evidence.
Nice.
Wow.
Solid.
Yeah, so I feel like, I feel like we can now solidly wrap up what's going on.
I think so.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for our next segment.
Alrighty. You sound so enthused, Alexis.
I am enthused.
She is like 80% of our audience right now. Like, I'm ready for the next segment.
Can we chop?
Come on.
So are you saying we should have shaved 20 minutes off of our what's going on?
We might want to,
Yeah,
actually.
shave 20 minutes off of our 20-minute what's going on. Sorry, our 15-minute what's going on. Can we get 5 minutes back?
Hey.
No, we can't.
Well put, Alexis. My sentiments exactly.
So what I wanted to talk about today, which I seeded at the end of last episode, is movies that feel like they were made specifically for you.
Yeah.
And what I kind of meant by that is movies where when you watch it, you kind of feel like, who is the audience for this other than me?
Yeah.
Because this could not have been crafted more perfectly for me.
Yeah, it's like if it's like ultimate fantasy, if you were to want to make a movie, if you were to make something like this, you would be incredibly proud. It's the movie that you would want to see, and someone else made it, and that's so nice.
Yes.
It's so nice. I get to pay a ticket, and I get to
Yeah,
live.
no,
Fantastic.
I
Just
didn't,
for me,
I didn't
nobody
have
else.
to, I didn't have to spend all the money to make this movie because it's out there now.
Fantastic.
So what are some of your guys' films that you feel were made for you, Alexis?
Alexis, take it away.
Oh, well, I was starting off nice and soft with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I think I was probably like in grade school, middle school, but there was something so poetic about it that I just didn't quite get at that age, but I thought I got it, you know?
Yeah.
And over time, I keep rewatching that movie like over and over, and it would make me think of something new that I had experienced in my life that also gave me the same feelings that I was feeling in the movie, you know? Just of like, I don't know, being so full up of one person that's all you. The best idea would be to erase them. I don't know.
God, I love being so full up of one person. Wow,
Yeah.
It's like dick. It's like sex. Come on, guys. Give me some.
Hey, I thought we all agreed to tone down the horny on...
No one agreed to
No,
that.
we didn't agree.
That was just a
voluntary.
consumer complaint that we're filing away.
We're choosing to ignore.
Okay, all right. Well, okay. I mean, my second choice was The Handmaiden.
Yeah,
so.
there we go.
There it is. Yeah, no, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a really, really good film. I've only ever seen it once.
Yeah, I've
I was
also only
blown
seen it.
away by it.
I've seen it like dozens of times.
That's
At least a dozen.
What's his name? Kaufman?
Yeah, Charlie Kaufman's script.
Yeah, really, really good. That is a...
I met the director of that movie, and he was super nice.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name?
Oh my God, Michelle Gondry.
Nice.
Yeah. And once again, I just absolutely love Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
And seeing her in this kind of role, which I'd never really seen her kind of, I don't know, just like this weird, free-spirited kind of chickie, you know?
Yeah. It was different for her than what she was doing at the time.
Yeah, but she's just so good.
The Handmaiden reminded me of another thing that went on for me recently.
Okay.
Not to dip back into what's going on.
Okay.
But I went to go see the new Park Chan-wook movie last week.
Yeah.
I went on a Tuesday afternoon, and about halfway through the movie, so probably like an hour and a half in, this dude came in. He was smelling incredibly weird. He's kind of stumbling. He sits down in the row that me and my friend Drew are in. He starts rummaging in this bag, and then Drew and I both hear this sound that sounds exactly like a gun being loaded. So we got the fuck out of there, and apparently we were wrong because there was no shooting at the Universal AMC. But yeah, I found it incredibly ironic that during the film Decision to Leave, we made a decision to leave.
There it is.
Yeah.
Maybe
Sorry.
it was a plant.
Yeah.
Try to get you to leave.
It's a viral marketing campaign where they...
Campaign.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh, minor speech error. Guys, I was up at 4 a.m.
I know, you're in a very interesting place right now.
Yeah,
You're very tired.
I'm feeling fun.
Nobody trusts each other anymore.
I never have. Alexis, what do you love about The Handmaiden?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I grew up thinking my brain was always a little fucked up. You know, I found things interesting that this is making me sound like a serial killer.
Yeah, now you're in the hot seat. How's it feel? It feels powerful, doesn't it?
But yeah, I
feel like God. All these little ants crawling before me to be crushed under my toes.
What were you saying, Alexis?
I've always loved movies that do like it's divided in like parts, you know, and you won't understand all the parts until you see the whole thing. Essentially, I don't know. The movie's a little erotic. I guess that's what you could say, and it is actually
gentle tiptoeing around how incredibly graphic this movie is.
Yeah,
a little erotic.
So sexual.
And I don't know. I love, you know, women being stuck in a certain way and then they fucking get their comeuppance, you know? Female revenge is so fun. It's so fun.
Yes. I enjoy a good female revenge story.
What movies were made for you, Mick?
I wasn't done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Are you
But I
planning
think
your revenge now?
Mick might agree with me on this one.
I love The Handmaiden. The Handmaiden's fantastic.
Yeah. Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
I still haven't seen it. I own it, and I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, me and Mick
Good
watched that
choice.
one for the first time this year, and it was that movie and it was Crash where we both just like looked at each other like, is this? Oh, it is. Oh, this is working for you too, huh? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a point in the 90s and like early 2000s where like casting agents in Hollywood were like, We need a guy who's just the horniest freak ever. Just a guy who's just out there on the prowl. Get me James Spader.
Yeah, James. I really love him. Mom, if you're listening, I apologize, but I love James Spader. I was not allowed to watch any James Spader movies when I was a kid because my mom hates him, apparently.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah, and so I was never allowed to watch any of his movies.
I did not understand that. I
don't get it either. I love the man.
I grew up watching Secretary, which is absolutely not an appropriate movie for me to watch at the age I first watched that, but
yeah.
I love that movie.
That's the other movie that I watched with you.
Yeah.
Where I was like, my God, James Spader.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, I saw him in Secretary for so long, and then I think it was in high school that I watched Pretty in Pink, and I was like, oh my God, he's such a dick. God, no wonder people didn't like him. And then, and you know what? And then I saw him in Sex, Lies, and Videotape this year, and I was like, oh, it's cemented. James Spader. That's all I need to say.
Fantastic. I actually mentioned that the only 90s heartthrob that was missing from Interview with a Vampire was James Spader. He should have gotten it.
You know, what I hate, though, is that I did all that, and then I didn't even explain why the movie was made for me.
Yeah, I think we know. I think we know.
No, okay, it's okay. So part of it is the voyeurism, you know, of the fact that, you know, he's making all these videotapes that are like, he's interviewing different people about their women, about their lives, you know, and I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna give it away for Zack if I talk too much about it, but
that's fair.
But I think there's just it was such a quiet movie, and it was so. There's like none of that bullshit of like padding around a conversation. You're just getting to know somebody like nitty gritty, just like being totally honest and
completely vulnerable.
Yeah, and
I feel vulnerable over here on this side of the table.
In the hot seat.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll go easy on you today.
Thank you.
But yeah, no. There was just something so sincere and honest about the movie that I just really vibed with. I vibed with him.
You vibed all over it.
Mick, it's a Freudian slip. Come back with the laboratory, young man. I should give you Stugel. Well, this might sound dull after that, but I do have to say, and this was the movie I mentioned to you, Alexis, and I get looks over. A movie that I watch again and again, and every time I see it, I go, "Fuck, this is made for me." It's Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World.
What?
Well, that's because it's a film for adults.
It's a film for adults. You may not know it to look at me with my baby face right now, but I'm an adult. You know how I know that? Because I love Master and Commander. Someone tweeted a while ago that it's a really boring movie, something like that.
Yeah, it was during the pandemic, and they said it was a great way to put yourself to sleep if you were stressed.
Yeah, and Russell Crowe, like, retweeted or something like that, saying that, you know, kids these days, they don't have a short attention span. No. This is a movie for adults. And I felt so
epic.
I felt so validated. But, you know, all joking aside, I love a good tall ship movie. I love like big sail ships. I don't know. I love the aesthetic. I love the sea. I love how it's a movie about me and my aquatic metaphors over here.
You're an ocean boy.
I am.
He's something.
I grew up on the coast.
He's something of a salty sea dog.
I am, which leads me to my second movie. I think you know what it's gonna be.
Come on. Is it because I grew up in Fresno? That's why I'm a little fucked up. Is that it?
Yep.
Well, I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying it either.
I'll say it.
No one's saying it.
I mean, it was. I don't think it was particularly Fresno. Maybe just my family. Who knows?
But it's. I'll admit. It's absolutely a man movie. It's just a bunch of men on a boat, and it's, you know, a romantic picture, not so much. But I have to say, there is this kind of, maybe I'm reading into it, this homoeroticism between Paul Bettany and Russell Crowe as the ship's doctor and the captain. They kind of have those scenes where they look at each other and they like, I'm like, God, you guys are basically in a relationship. You just don't know it.
Yeah, he's his ocean wife.
I don't think I'm ever going to forget you talking about why Master and Commander is made for you, and one of your responses is, it's a bunch of men on a ship.
I'm not saying that's why. I'm saying that's an aspect.
Okay, so that
It's
actually
a bunch of semen.
that ties into.
Hi-ho, him and yep.
Oh wait. That ties into something that I wrote down as a thing that I love in a movie is guys being dudes, dudes being friends. It's nice.
And it may be a little extra.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm just not. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Is what I'm saying.
Alright. You got anything else about Master and Commander?
Yeah,
buddy?
I do. Thank you.
Yeah,
I love the scientific aspect of it too, with the doctor who's a naturalist and he's going out in the Galapagos Islands and he's exploring, and it's this interesting clash of war and knowledge where these two different mindsets, these two best friends, are kind of conflicted because one is interested in the pursuit of science and the natural life and one is there to basically tear it down. And it's that inherent conflict I find to be really played out. I love the classical music. They have Bach in there, Mozart, and it's just, I don't know, it's just such a classy film. I love it. I love falling asleep to it.
Come on, man. Russell Crowe's gonna find you if you
I
say
know.
that. He's gonna find her apartment, he's gonna barge through the door, he's gonna kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I feel like Tall Ships ties into the Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Yeah. That's
And the
another
Pirates of the Caribbean films tie into the film that I feel was made for me. Because I wrote down some other movies, but I feel like those other movies have an audience that appreciate them. I'll shout out the Seth Rogen Christmas comedy The Night Before. Didn't do very well, but I found it very emotionally affecting, and it's important to me and my group of friends from back home. But the film that was made for me, that was absolutely created for Zack Harris, is Gore Verbinski's A Cure for Wellness.
what a build-up.
I love this movie. I love it so much. It is an incredible spectacle. It is, once again, a very high-budget, beautiful horror movie.
Yeah.
And I love it so much, and I cannot wait to get into it.
It's a sleeper film. It is absolutely a sleeper film. And what I mean by that is movies that kind of flew under the radar, both critically and in a box office way. It did not do well at the box office, and I looked it up. This thing has 42% on Rotten Tomatoes,
That is so wrong.
which is insane.
It's a
to me.
5-star film. It's a 5-star film.
Well, I don't
Oh,
It's a 5-star film.
well, we can leave it at that.
I will.
We're gonna leave
it
We're
at
gonna leave that in the corner of the room. We're not gonna touch it
I'll
because
put
it's
it
your
right
it's your
in the
happy
middle of the
place.
table.
We'll put a
Okay.
cone on its head. It's
Yeah.
your birthday month. We'll give it to you.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
I mean, I was shocked
Yeah,
when I
please.
watched it. I was like, oh shit. I can't believe I've never seen this before. Then we got to the end, and I was like, okay, all right, well.
Yeah, the end, I will agree. For me, it's, it doesn't blow my hat off, but I like the journey. I love the aesthetic.
What's his name?
Who are we
Dane-
talking about?
Dane
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 DeHaan.
DeHaan.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
how you really feel.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed Alexis's comment that she enjoys Dane DeHaan and Mia Goth together because they both look really sick.
Yeah,
And that is something that I noticed the first time I watched this movie. I was like, they both look like they have tuberculosis.
Yeah, on
perfect couple right there.
On a rewatch, that's what I said, that Dane DeHaan looks like the Lizard King version of Leonardo DiCaprio. He's got a little reptilian in him.
I still don't see that. I feel like he's in his own category, but that's okay.
All right.
I mean, all right, sure.
I stand by it.
I'd like to bring up my first few viewings of this movie. The first one,
Just ignore her, please.
the first
Carry on.
the first time I watched this movie, it was it might have been spring of 2020. I was back in Eugene. I was
my
hanging out with Edwin. I was at my dad's house doing nothing.
The season of the plague.
Yeah, it was right when the world started going insane. And a movie where the main character's world goes completely insane
Yeah.
was the perfect thing to watch. After my first viewing, I didn't know how I felt about the movie. I was like, I don't know if this is good, but I know I had a lot of fun with it.
I remember you told me that.
Yeah.
Like, after you first saw it.
Very soon after I watched it for the first time, I watched it at my place in Arcata with Mick, whereupon I created the Cure for Wellness drinking game.
Which, can I say, is probably the closest, it's ironic, it's called a Cure for Wellness, and that might have been the closest to death I've ever gotten. Wow, that was a night.
Well, I mean, if you play it with hard alcohol, then
yeah.
We did.
We did. So
it was Sauza, I believe, that night.
Oof.
Yeah, so I'm gonna read out the rules to the drinking game, but just
please play them.
Bear in mind that if you play, please play with beer or seltzer, something.
Okay, I'll be honest.
Like drink responsibly, and I was like, oh, that's so nice of him. Just no, just a specification.
Well, you don't have to drink responsibly, but don't drink in a method that is going to basically
So
kill
don't
you.
do what our co-hosts have done.
What?
Yes.
Hey, last night I played with seltzer, and I still got off my rocker.
Yeah.
It was absolutely nuts.
But
I'm telling you, that game.
Part of that is my
a
fault
doozy.
because I just kept saying, "Wow."
Yeah, that's one of the rules.
Yes.
If
So
you just stand back and go, "Wow."
Let
take
me
a drink.
get into a cure for drunkenness. Drink every time there is eel business, which means every time something eel related is on screen. Drink every time people are less clothed than you'd like them to be. There's a comma after this rule that says drink again, which leads me to believe that when I wrote these rules, I was already a little drunk.
Yeah.
Fucking drink again. Drink every time Dane DeHaan doesn't investigate his toilet. Drink every time the song from the music box plays. Drink when Dane DeHaan's workplace gets unnecessarily hostile. Drink every time the bodies were dried up like mummies is said. Drink when you just kind of stop and go, wow.
Alexis,
And
10 times last night.
That was me.
Oh, I kept a counter. And when they introduce a massive plot point with less than 30 minutes left in the movie, it should really be less than 20. Finish your drink. Now, I kept a WoW counter going because when we first played this game, I put in the WoW rule kind of as a joke, but towards the end of the movie, Mick did stop and go, wow. Alexis said wow 7 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one of them. There it is. One of them was a shot of a train, which again, beautiful.
That was my first wow.
The train shots in this film. I mean, honestly.
No, it's like any shot that has like this gorgeous reflection in it, using like the water or like the clear glass or something.
I mean, they're really maximizing their location. I don't know where they shot the movie. We should look that up. But I mean, if you're in the Alps, amplify that as much as you can and all the reflections, and it's so gorgeous, this film. Oh my god, feast for the eyes.
I really loved where Hannah Mia Goth's character was she was like standing on the edge of like not necessarily like a pond, but like a giant kind of square like water space, and there's just this gorgeous reflection of the mountains and her in the water. It was just so pretty. Yeah, I kept wanting to say wow. Like, I definitely said it in my head a few times, and then I was like, I'll just keep that there. Keep that there.
So, I feel like we're definitely going to spoil this movie, so I'm going to issue a massive spoiler warning.
Well, I feel like this is the first time you've ever actually, like, issued a spoiler alert before you begin to spoil the movie.
That's how much it matters to me. That's how much it matters.
I guess listeners should probably just assume.
Yeah, I mean, we're
point.
Covering the movie. We're going to talk about what happens in it. So, the finale of A Cure for Wellness is one of the most bizarre things I've seen in any studio movie. We have talked at length about Barbarian and how that's a gear shift movie that goes absolutely nuts. Mm-hmm. We've talked about Malignant and how the end of that movie is insane. And when I watched Malignant for the first time, my immediate thought was, that's the boldest ending to a studio horror movie since A Cure for Wellness.
Yeah.
Because
I think that's still a fair assessment.
Yeah. A Cure for Wellness ends with the reveal that Jason Isaacs' Dr. Vollmer is really the immortal Baron von Riechmar, who has been raising his daughter, Hannah, to be his new bride after the villagers 200 years ago murdered his sister and threw the fetus, which was Hannah, the product of incest, into the aquifer. Then Jason Isaacs removes his face and gets in a confrontation with Dahan and Mia Goth, which ends with Mia Goth's Hannah burying a shovel in his head.
Yeah.
It's
Loved
nuts.
Loved it.
Oh yeah, that's
it
such
gets
a good
crazy
shot.
towards the end, that's for sure. Because the whole movie, you're thinking, where is this going? You're titillated and you are intrigued because you keep getting all of this eel business.
I really
which-
liked the color palette.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
But by the time you get to the end and you realize what it's all been, it's very, oh, okay. It went there.
That's where it went.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'll admit, I like a movie that makes you, that just shows all its cards in a very proud, bold way.
I will say I don't love the rapey vibes that this movie has.
Nobody does, except the, not good. I was going to say the person committing them, obviously, but that's, probably goes without saying.
Hey, fun little quick story about Jason Isaacs. He almost hit me with his car one time. I went to go see his car. I went to go
I'm
see.
okay with that.
Thanks, Alexis.
Wow.
I meant like he could hit me with his car. I meant it like that.
But
I'm
you'd
just joking.
prefer
I'm
it's
just
me.
joking.
Okay.
No, of course I wouldn't prefer it's you.
It's all very Freudian in here tonight. Listeners, they would like it, yeah. Pretty nice.
I mean, it is appropriate for a movie that's set in a sanitarium in the Swiss Alps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to go see a screening of Death of Stalin when I was in my freshman year of college. I was
that movie.
I was biking to the movie, and a car pulled out of a parking lot and almost hit me. And we both kind of stopped. I made eye contact with the driver. I thought, that kind of looks like Jason Isaacs. I'd forgotten he was in the movie. I continued my bike ride to the theater. I went and saw the movie. It was then revealed that it was a Q&A screening with Jason Isaacs. And I was like, oh, guess that was it.
It almost killed me.
Yeah.
God, what a badge of honor that would be.
Not a
that
bad
tire
way to
mark.
go.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, if I'm gonna get hit by a car, I'd prefer Jason Isaacs hit me so I can sue him for everything he's fucking worth.
If there is an afterlife, that would be a great icebreaker for all the other dead people. Like, hey, I got killed. Guess who did it?
Lucius Malfoy trucked me with a rental.
He totally trucked me. Oh, man.
He is so good in this movie.
He's great. I love
an
Jason
incredible
Isaacs.
actor, yeah.
Any performance he's in, it's so good.
I feel like screen presence is...
Oh, he's got it.
It's kind of like porn, you know it when you see it.
Yeah, for real. Like, honestly, to bring up Death of Stalin again, that shot where he walks in and he takes off his cape. Oh my God! Talk about commanding the screen. Well done.
Yeah.
Nice.
I gotta throw in a remark about the movie any chance I get.
You know.
I love it.
Yeah, Mick, what was your first reaction to A Cure for Wellness?
My first reaction, probably, if I can remember it, because let's be honest.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Frankly, it was very. It's an intoxicating film. It's one of those movies that drive you mad, and that's another movie that I was going to reference. The Lighthouse does a very similar thing, where by the end of it, you feel just as topsy-turvy as the main characters do because you don't trust what's real and what isn't. And I remember just questioning everything by the end of the film. I liked it.
I feel like it's such a sort of bizarre film that throws so much at you that it's taken literally until this last viewing for me to come up with sort of a cohesive take on what I think the movie is about. Mm-hmm. And if you guys don't mind, I'd like to share that out, and you tell me if you think I'm off it. I wrote that the sickness we are trying to cure is the sickness of greed under capitalism. The only freedom we can hope for under capitalism is death. When you're a corporate drone, that's the only cure. The only freedom is breaking out of that cycle. Wellness culture is a misplaced response to existential dread under capitalism. That's why the only cure for the human condition is disease. It's not a coincidence that the rich people are the patrons here. The Baron used to exploit the working class, but they wised up to his oppression and they revolted. The petty bourgeoisie are convinced that the ruling class have their best intentions at heart and are more easily duped due to their creature comforts. Even when you think you're at the top of the ladder in capitalism, there's always a bigger fish, or eel, that wants to consume you. And that's why there's a scene early in the movie where Dane DeHaan visits his mother in a nursing home and asks her if she's happy, and she says, people come here to die, why would I be happy? That line makes more sense in that context. The spa is a place where people come to die and are happy because that's the only place where they can be free of the cycle of capitalism. Lockhart can't engage with her actual desire to live because his life is so hollow that a nice place to die seems just fine, and that's why his response to her, I think, is both really telling and really funny, because the only thing he can say to his mom saying that is, I just got a promotion.
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts.
Well said. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Because I remember that moment last night, you were like, I think I just figured out what this movie's about. I was excited to hear it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which, that was my one note that I wrote down, was like, they're all sick from capitalism.
Yes,
exactly.
And I think that, well, it might be a little clunky. I think it's why it's important that his employers show up at the end of the movie. It's a movie that's about freeing yourself from the prison of capitalism. So, you know, the fact that his superiors show up at the end of the movie and he doesn't go back is an indication that he's, you know, well, he might have completely lost his mind based on the insane final shot of the movie. At least he's free.
Yeah. You always want your character to go through some sort of a change, and I'm glad that he does actually have that at the end of the movie. Yeah, I thought that was just so funny though at the end, because it's like he's literally telling them all, he's like, there's nothing wrong with any of you. There's nothing wrong with any of you, but then none of them can see it. And of course that's why they attack him and try to...
Yeah, I think that ties into something that Gore Verbinski hasn't done a ton of interviews about this movie, but one thing that he said, I believe to Collider, was that this is a movie about how susceptible people are to being absolved of any responsibility for their problems or, you know, like external causes, because he's like, people love being told, oh, well, it's not your fault, you're sick. And, you know, these people who are at the top of the capitalist system love being told
you're
that
absolved of your guilt.
It's not your fault, there's something wrong with you. So that's Dane DeHaan saying, oh, there's nothing wrong with you, is they want something to be wrong with them. That's why they're happy to be in this place that is killing them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's interesting, Gore Verbinski, this is not his first film where it's definitely a critique of capitalism, and that's part of the reason I enjoy him as a filmmaker, you know, aside from the fact that his, you know, movie story is so grand and epic.
And aquatic.
That's true. That is true.
Mick loves
we know you love those aquatic metaphors.
He loves a damp film.
For real.
And this is one of the dampest.
It really is, yeah. Yeah, that actually, to do a little callback to our other episode, we were talking about eel slurping. I think it was one of the viewings we had where we realized that eel slurping could be used synonymously with gaslighting, because there's so much gaslighting in this film. And there is literal eel slurping in it.
Yeah.
You remember that scene? Oh my god. That is terrifying.
Oh, that was
utterly terrifying.
That was my one. Okay, now I remember. That was my one complaint about the movie, is why is there so much dental horror? There's so much mouth horror. You know, being at the dentist is a very vulnerable thing. I always, like, I don't know, there's just so many things that can go wrong. The needles are so big. Like, there's just, they got your mouth all spread wide open. It always reminds me of that scene in Final Destination 2 where, like, the blowfish, like, lands in this guy's mouth and he starts choking, but he can't move because he's in the seat. And this movie just really, it brought it all back.
It's like the blowfish.
It's like the blowfish. It was so bad.
I
literally had to, like, turn around, like laying on the couch, like to turn into the couch and like hug myself because I was like, oh, this is so horrible. Why are they doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, as someone who broke his 2 front teeth out in college, the scene where they drill into Dane DeHaan's tooth is
terrifying.
like
Horrifying.
brutal.
Yeah, I've always said I have a real struggle with eye injuries in film, but this movie reminded me that extends to dental stuff.
Yeah, I think just anything that's like in the mouth, like the face area, or even just like when somebody like drills into somebody's like head or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have to bring up, and I know you didn't quite enjoy this when I said it, Zach, but I mean this with the most compliments and sincerity. But A Cure for Wellness, to me, seems a lot like Gore Verbinski's Guillermo del Toro picture. His version of it. It's this big, gothic, psychological horror where it basically explores and plays on the corruption of man and the corruption of capitalism, how corrosive that can be, and really the power of love. Of course, you have to have a movie with that, but I just love it really. Guillermo del Toro is one of my favorite directors, and when I say that this reminds me of a Guillermo del Toro picture, I mean that in the most kindest of ways. Really, it's fantastic with the locations. I mean, the cinematographer, I'm gonna butcher this name, I think it's Bohan Bezzelli, who also has done Guillermo del Toro pictures. He shot Crimson Peak. So, I don't know. I think if you like Guillermo del Toro movies, you should really give A Cure for Wellness a chance. I think it would be right up your alley.
I think you should give Gore Verbinski a chance, because I think he's also... I think the only umbrage I like genuinely take from that is like, I think that Gore Verbinski has been a filmmaker with gothic tastes for as long as Del Toro has. I think that he makes very gothic, baroque, big pictures. Even when he's making a comedy like Mouse Hunt, like that is a gothic picture.
I'll have to watch that again. I only saw that
Yeah,
once when I was really young. Remember Whoopi Goldberg was in it.
I really enjoyed how every shot in this movie was basically a painting. And then just like there's this one shot of Dane DeHaan's character moving through the like I want to say like sweat house area, this area down
the
there,
sauna, yeah.
the sauna, and in this one room, the tile, and I don't know if they're probably like color graded this or something, but it is almost an exact match for like his skin tone. So like with like the haze and everything, it's almost like he blends in the frame.
Disappearing.
Yeah.
Place. Yeah.
And and just other than that, the green that they use for a lot of the hospital is just so sickly looking, you know.
And
like even the walls are steeped in the sickness that, you know, nobody's really paying attention to.
that sounds like a deathcore song, Steeped in the Sickness. I like that. Yeah, that scene you're talking about in the sauna also reminds me of how good the Foley work is in this film.
Yes.
That creaking sound of his crutches on the tile, so good.
Like, shh. Listen to the Foley.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that to our listeners. Some people don't love those kinds of sounds, even though I'd be doing that to you guys.
Worst offender.
Yeah, every time before the podcast starts, I'd be doing some weird shit with my mouth as soon as the boys put their headphones on.
There's some people who pay good money for this.
Yeah.
That's true.
Aren't we lucky?
Listeners, shoot us an email.
Zach, you remind me how lucky I am sometimes.
Tell us if you enjoy mouth noises.
The film major mastication.
Yeah, no, the Foley in this movie. I can get back to the Foley.
Yeah,
we can go back to the
Speaking
Foley.
of
It
mastication,
was really
take
good.
it away.
I did say that in the middle of the movie. Was like, oh wow, this Foley work is incredible.
Great Foley work.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sound of the drill is like burned into my brain of it just chewing through his tooth. And yeah, the continuing noise of the crutches with like the hollow, wide spaces of the sanitarium. It's a really effective sound mix.
And again, I love the original score. Really great music.
Okay. Okay.
I like it when
No,
they do it.
no, I can do it.
Okay,
Guys,
it's
why
fine.
don't you believe in me?
I do believe
We
in you.
do believe in you.
I thought we
I
were
don't know about
giving me a
the
break.
leading a quartet.
Getting in my way of bringing up Mia Goth.
Oh, yes.
All right, let's get into it.
Oh yeah, no. Okay, so when she was doing her little ballerina dance in the bar, I think it was after that scene, I was just like, wow, her physicality in just I'm thinking specifically Pearl and now A Cure for Wellness. She knows how to fill space in like the camera's view, you know, in this way that I don't know. I love Mia Goth so much, and now I kind of understand what Zach's been talking about with Mia Goth for the past like month.
This is the one?
I respect her. I really respect her, and I mean, you know, respect really goes a long way for me. So
I respect Mia Goth too, but I feel like that is not what I've been talking about for the past month.
Oh well, I mean, I don't know. I love the haunted look.
Yeah.
You love a gaunt figure.
But I agree with you about the movement of Mia Goth.
Yeah.
It's really, really something. And it really adds a lot to a performance, character movement. I always love it when an actor chooses to really exemplify a character, not just through their eyes and through their words and how they choose to deliver their lines, but just through their movement. I mean, that famous actor who worked with Akira Kurosawa a lot would always talk about how he would choose a quirk, a movement, and he would just embody that, and it forms so much about the character.
She literally, in many scenes, looks almost like a marionette character that's
Yeah,
waiting
she
for
looks
her
like a doll.
strings to be pulled, which is in direct opposition to like the character that she plays as Pearl, and then also as Maxine, which I don't know. You can see it just in the way that like she even like stands. She kind of like is a little hunched over, but obviously with Maxine, you know, it's very much this strutting kind of like movement. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. She's great at what she's doing.
I'm just really quick gonna say the actor who collaborated with Kurosawa was Toshiro Mifune, because we'll be killed. We'll be killed if we don't.
I know. I had
Mifune
it pulled up on my phone just now, but I didn't want to butcher the name.
Yeah, don't
Toshiro
need
Mifune.
Toshiro Mifune.
Toshiro Mifune. Great. Holy fuck. Sorry. Take it away. That was a handsome man.
Let me
Oh
see.
my god.
Show me.
He was the George Clooney
Give
of
it
the
to me.
60s.
Yeah, let's get into this for a bit. He was
it's
a
good looking
stud.
man.
He was a fucking A-lister.
Oh,
right
that
there.
guy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, something that I wanted to bring up, which is one of the elements that I really enjoy in a movie and really enjoy in this movie, is how every single person, no matter the size of the role, no matter if they are a force for good or a force for evil, is the creepiest motherfucker, the most cryptic son of a bitch you have ever met. The actor who plays Dr. Peterson, who is the first Doctor who Lockhart really has like a conversation with, is so just like verbose and like grim, and is so fun to watch. His delivery of "Yes, history is full of darkness." It's incredible. The little kid on the train in the opening of the movie who's just drawing a devil and staring just through Dane DeHaan. Every single person in the cast is creepy, and
They
I
crushed
live for it. I
Yeah.
live for it.
Yeah, shout out to all the supporting actors.
Oh yeah. The background work is really good, and just
Great
in general,
background
I was really appreciating like not only just like the way that you know the color palette kind of works with everything in that, but his blocking of his characters in each shot is just perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
You know, it's having directed background now for my job. It does not take me out of it when watching another movie that has background actors in it. It's a lot. You'd probably agree with this. It's really fun to watch it done really well.
Oh yeah.
And how, you know, sometimes when I set background, costumes department will come in and say, no, these people can't play, and I don't really understand why. But now that I do it more, I realize certain colors you don't want next to each other.
Yes.
This woman's wearing a bright red dress. We want her at the forefront. She's wearing a sparkly dress. She's going to glitter as she like walks by camera. And so when you watch that composed well in a good film, like A Cure for Wellness,
One might say a great film.
you really appreciate it, yeah. Because there's a lot of background work in this, and you have the guy going through the park flying a kite, which is just one of those things where you see that and you go, oh boy, this is gonna be an interesting stay at this clinic.
Yeah,
and you
this-
see an
I thought
old
that-
man
elderly
flying a kite.
man playing with a kite.
What did I say when he first got there? I was like,
Oh,
what was it? It was like,
um,
I don't trust this place.
everyone's white. Everyone seems to be white. That's a big nor from me.
Yeah. As soon as he got there, I was like, everyone's in white. Everyone is white. They all seem to be white.
Nah,
This
That's a white flag
seems
right
like a
there.
big danger zone for me, pal.
and you were correct.
Yeah, I was. My instincts
You had
were
good instincts.
spot on, guys.
Yeah, between
Oh.
this and like Midsommar,
Okay.
white people garbed. I mean, and also life.
Yeah.
White people garbed in white. That's a big no-no.
Yeah, it's a big no-no for sure. Fuck, what? Oh, God, I forgot already.
I mean, that's a cornerstone of cinema. That's not even a genre or a subgenre. It's just white people that make you go, oh no.
Ugh.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Yeah.
You gonna say something?
I was, and I immediately lost it. It's fine.
Are you here for the cure? You seem to have it worse
Don't bring
than
out a
anyone.
blue bottle. I will leave.
Oh, dude. When
Yeah,
you
once
finally
you
saw
find out
that
what
was
that is.
condensed,
Ugh.
which I had my suspicions. That was the fun part of this movie. Is like there was little things where I was like, I have a suspicion that this is what is going on. But
What's going on?
what's going on?
No, I on that same note, I wrote down that this movie's really great with little details that when you rewatch the movie really come to the forefront. Obviously, there's the picture in the office that they hold on for just enough time for you to notice the man with his face in bandages, which turns out to be the Baron. There's also the moment, there's a little moment when Lockhart first talks with Hannah, where she looks up and she sees the Baron looking down at her from one of the windows of the towers at the sanitarium. And there's also a little moment, which I think I missed the first time I watched the movie, where after Volmer picks Lockhart and Hannah up from the town, he dabs his forehead with a handkerchief, and there's a little bit of blood on the handkerchief, which, despite it being an insane moment when he tears his face off to reveal that he's the fucking Lizard King, it is seeded. So, hats
they
off
set it
to
up.
the setups and payoffs in A Cure for Wellness.
What was the other one? It was the kid who was drawing the picture of everything on fire, and I was like, ooh, that was a good. When we get to the end, I was like,
forgot
up,
about that.
and I knew that was going to be important as soon as I saw it.
Yeah, and you have the it is like also just a really great movie about the past like reverberating.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it ties into the reading about capitalism and how it's just sort of this beast that's lasted and lasted, because I mean the story about the Baron's castle being burned down, it's going to come back, and inevitably it does.
Yeah, I love that the fact that the people in society who are the most exploitative are willingly being exploited by the Baron.
Yeah.
It's a nice little twisty twist right there.
It's a good twist.
Yes. Ooh, the other thing, I really loved all the macro shots, like the very, very close shots, like where you could see like somebody's like the fingerprint or like the pores on their face, or Dane DeHaan's beautiful freckles.
That's why they call him Poor Verbinski. Yeah. You like that one? You feel good about that one?
I feel good about that one.
Okay,
that
good.
one was good. Yeah.
We'll keep it.
Yeah, we'll keep that one.
Another thing technique that Gore Verbinski is fucking incredible with, which he clearly started honing in The Ring, and I feel like is really used to full effect in A Cure for Wellness, is his deftness with montage. The videotapes in the ring obviously serve the story well, but also are just like really evocative, creepy imagery on their own. And there's a montage right after Lockhart gets in the car crash that seeds a lot of stuff that's going to happen later in the movie and is, serves the narrative well, but also just like stands alone as a bunch of really evocative, creepy imagery that, would freak you out if it weren't in the context of this chilling film.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Great, awesome.
Yeah. Another thing that I was saying was, this brings it back to Smile just for a second, but me and my sister were talking about what we really like in horror movies, or just any sort of movie like that, where it's like Get Out, where it's like, there's something on the tip of my finger. Like, I can't describe why something feels off, but I know that something feels off, and that's what you spend your entire time trying to figure out is like, what is this? What is it? What the
What's
thing that's
going
on
on?
What the thing that is on the tip of my tongue that I can't quite get to. To be fair, Dane DeHaan didn't have a chance, because how do you really get to the end of what this is?
Yeah, how do you arrive at that as your conclusion?
It's not in any rational person's mind. You don't logically get to this point where you figure out that that's what's going on. So it is very fun.
Yeah, I really enjoy a horror movie. I know some people have issues with the end of Hereditary, but I really like it because I like a horror movie that does play with the idea of gaslighting, in the sense that the movie is setting you up to be like, okay, is all of this really happening, or am I being misled by my main character or the film in some way, and is there going to be a rug pull? Yeah. And the reveal is, oh no, all of that's really happening, and it's crazier than you could have ever fucking imagined.
Yeah, it validates your worst nightmare, and then it goes even further.
Yes.
Yeah. I do always really enjoy movies where it's where I guess it is just like the gaslighting is playing such a huge factor, because everybody else is making you feel like you're the crazy one for feeling like something is the fuck wrong. And there was, I think it was it Dane DeHaan? There was a moment where I was like, and look, and here we got another man going to put a woman in danger because he just can't not check it out. That also happened in Killer Clowns from Outer Space, where I was like, oh, and we're going to go investigate the giant tent in the middle of the forest.
Why is it there, though, is my question.
It seems like something we don't want to get to.
But there's a big tent there.
There's a big tent there.
I gotta see what's in there.
I do have to say, though, for a character that it is kind of nice that something strange is happening, but our male character, for once, does not investigate, which, of course, is the toilet. Again and again, and you wouldn't expect it to be full of, spoiler alert, eels. But that was interesting. Numerous times he did not check it out. Good for him.
That is the most
Play it smart.
That is the most brutal rule in the drinking game, where it's like, oh, hey, he's not investigating his toilet. He's not investigating his toilet. Drink. And then when he finally does, it's full of eels, so you still have
he's
to
investigating.
drink.
Finally, I don't have to drink. Oh, it's eel business.
And at that point, it's like, my boy has known there's been eel business about, there's been fuckery afoot, so it almost isn't even like a big reveal for him. He's just like, well, fuck.
Well, of course.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
I'm enjoying that you're making fuckery afoot, that we are all making fuckery afoot.
It's a good line.
Yeah, it is.
I'm
It
glad
is a
we're
really good
keeping
line.
it alive.
Guy Ritchie, never change.
For real. Was there any other good quotes in your notes?
Things that you said.
Yeah.
Let me see. There was one. Let me track it down. So there's a moment where one of the orderlies takes Victoria Watkins to go get her treatment, and Alexis looked at this Swedish, shaggy-looking motherfucker in white scrubs and went, that man could take me to treatment anytime.
Oh yeah, I remember that. What the hell?
Last episode I said that this movie was gonna throw some cold water on the horny energy,
Nope.
and it didn't seem to.
No, it just evaporated into steam instantly.
Yeah,
like
we were in a
some sort of a
spicy
sauna.
sauna. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
There it is.
Yeah, as soon as I remembered that Dane DeHaan was Harry Osborn from Amazing Spider-Man #2, I was like, oh, this guy. I remember him.
From Amazing
Spider-Man 2. A movie that I definitely got on Redbox in 2015 and was not impressed.
I still haven't seen it.
You don't need to. There's a part in this movie when Dane DeHaan's put in the sensory deprivation tank, and the orderly who's supposed to be watching him is distracted when a female orderly comes in and reveals her breasts to him, and he starts jacking off.
Yeah.
And there's a later moment where there's two orderlies in an elevator, and one of them is miming. They're speaking in German, and he's miming large, voluptuous breasts. And I like to think that is in reference to the same woman, and she's just going around the same
making her rounds.
Yeah. Her job is to show up and distract people when they're working and have them beat off, and they'll kill a patient.
It's a marvelous technique.
Yeah, that's canon in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came up, and I was like, whoa, oh, all right.
Yeah.
This is get well soon.
It's not a hostile work environment, but it's not a professional one.
Yeah,
No.
I would say.
Definitely not. Oh, the fucking lady, that white lady from the firm, lady is unhinged on the reel. She said the most racist things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, there's a moment
beginning, right?
in the opening where
Yeah.
they're threatening Dane DeHaan with jail for committing securities fraud to get him to go find Pembroke at this sanitarium, and she goes, "Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a 10-inch black cock in your ass?" And it cuts to Dane DeHaan, and then it cuts to a few members of the board focusing on the only black member on the board, and I was like, whoa, Jesus, Gore, we get it. You do not need to put that much of a point on it. Yeah, that's
a good preview of this movie, I'd say.
Yeah, it's if that is too wild for you, then you're not gonna enjoy where
That's
it
just
goes.
casual dialogue in the opening of the film.
I do also
Prepare yourself.
find it very interesting the way that period blood is kind of portrayed in the film. I mean, as a woman, it's just kind of funny because I think the first time that Hannah's character actually gets introduced to the concept of a period, because clearly she's with a bunch of menopausal biddies, so why would she know, but they go to the bar and some woman's on her period, and it does not make sense to me. She throws her bloody rag into a bin, right? Which I guess it's fine. It's the only bar in town. It's dingy. Okay, maybe that. But it's just clumps of blood. It's just like somebody cut off part of their finger and they just bled all over these napkins. I was like, that is an interesting way to portray
excessive.
that. Okay, all right. Is she okay? Does she need to go to the hospital? That doesn't seem right. Yeah.
Fair.
She's bleeding out.
It's bleeding
Yeah,
clumps.
she's bleeding out. But yeah, so other
Good
than
note.
that, yeah, good note. That it was interesting.
It is very much a man's perspective on a period, which is just blood.
Oh yeah, and then
Blood!
when Hannah's period does actually come, she's just gushing blood in the pool, gushing it, and
Which does lead to a pretty beautiful shot of the eels all in a circle around her as she bleeds.
yeah,
The overhead shot. Wow.
Yeah, where they're just in that circle there around her.
Yeah,
that
I was-
cloud of blood.
was honestly pretty uncomfortable with how infantilized Mia Goth's character is throughout everything, and then when he gives her the dress, and he doesn't even have to say it, but he does eventually say it, that you're a woman now. But as soon as I saw that dress, I'm like, my dude, you've had her in the same dingy dress for what, 150 years? You're just now giving her a new dress, and now you're gonna call her a woman? Cool. Okay.
Says a lot about him.
Yeah. Baron von Richtmar,
Yeah.
bad guy.
Bad guy.
I'll
The more
say
I
it.
learn about him, the more I think he's a jerk.
Yep. Do we have anything else on A Cure for Wellness?
I'm good.
I feel like
Yeah, I think it's just about
But I'm
all
just,
been said.
I was blown away, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that I did see this
Go
movie.
in knowing nothing now that we've explained everything.
yeah.
Maybe we should add that in the beginning. If you're going to watch this, go in knowing as little as you can.
Yeah, but I mean, it is just visually appealing in so many, as many ways as it is visually unappealing at times. It is incredibly visually appealing. So
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad both of you guys enjoyed this film because I feel guilty for not seeing it in theaters when I was 17, 18, and I feel like it is my mission to make A Cure for Wellness the cult classic that it deserves to be.
Amen.
yeah, I can jump on that gravy train. And with that, we bring Zach's month basically to a close.
That's right.
Your curation is
You've
over.
cured us.
Yes,
Cured
thank
us.
you everyone so much for spending spooky season with us. It's my favorite time of the year, and I hope that you enjoyed the films that we talked about. I hope you watched some of them.
Yeah.
If you're following our social media, which is Film Majors Pod on both Twitter and Instagram, I hope you've been keeping up with the spooky movie list. And yeah, it's a beautiful time of the year. Thank you for taking this journey with us. And we will be departing from horror films in our next episode.
Departing the station.
Yes, the sexy, sexy train shots will be arriving at a different location.
Yep.
And that location will be the 2011 film Jane Eyre, directed by Kari Joji Fukunaga and starring Mia Wasikowski and Michael Fassbender. I'm very excited.
Judi Dench is in it too.
Judi Dench is fantastic. And
Yeah.
can we say, why are we watching Jane Eyre? What's coming up next month?
Next month, Alexis?
Yeah.
Well, as you guys know, and maybe our listeners don't know, next month is my birthday.
Woo!
And fuck Thanksgiving. But yeah, anyways, fuck Thanksgiving. My birthday's really all that matters at this point, and
That's
because
true.
of that, I will be curating the movies for this month.
Oh, I can't wait.
It will be a period piece fall.
Different kind of
I
period piece than
can't
this one.
wait.
Different kind of period piece
I love
than
a
the
period
one
piece.
than the ones that have been happening lately. But
See, I
yes,
genuinely like period
so
pieces.
we're starting with Jane Eyre though, because I thought it would be a good segue out of spooky season with a nice gothic, darkly lit by candlelight and fireplaces kind of movie.
so
It's
good.
gonna be great.
Yeah, well,
It's in the
thank
walls.
you.
It's in the walls.
Yep.
I
It's still there.
That is another one of my favorite things in a movie.
I know. As soon as I chose this one, I knew. I was like, it's in the walls. She's in the walls.
I'm in your walls. And not only am I in your walls, but I'm so grateful to be on your airways. And if you
Nice.
would like to write in,
so
tell
glad.
us how you feel about me living inside of your walls,
Wait.
go ahead and
I can
choose
tell you
it.
how I feel about it.
Well, I don't really care.
I love it.
Speaking of living in walls, can you read that AI generated tweet?
Yeah, I just...
Wait, which one is this?
It's the, did you put that in the group chat?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you did.
There is a AI that generates tweets based on things that you have previously tweeted, and I ran my Twitter through it, and it came up with this little gem. I can picture you skulking around in my apartment like some sort of filthy ghouls, looking through all my things, eating my food, and sleeping on my couch. But don't worry, I won't tell anyone, because I'm your friend. And that feels like a robot-written love letter
Wow.
to our fourth roommate, Alexis.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is creepy
That's
how that
scarily
sounds
accurate.
exactly like you. You didn't write that?
I did not.
God,
a robot
AI
did.
these days. Wow, Skynet's really killing it.
I
gotta
know.
say.
I know. It was really special. I was like, it's like it knows me.
Yeah.
Well, if you'd like to know us better, shoot us an email at filmmajorspod at
Whoever that might
gmail.com. Filmmajorspod at gmail.com. And yeah, with that, this is the end of spooky season.
Oh,
I'm
sad.
Sad.
I'm sad to let it go.
It's come and gone.
We'll see it next year. And we will see you again next time during Period Piece Month.
I gotta come up with a better name. I'll work on it. I'm a
What's wrong
workshop
with
it.
period piece?
It's time for the period party. Bye-bye.
I don't know if that's better.
Oh.